my bitches bad as hell. We on top like chandelier. We make a movie, curve full of baddies and bougies. Glocks that fans and Uzis. I might pop out like John Wayne. Come through, sweep that bit like Nudie. He might lose me. I'm in here clutching the Uzi. Sliding big truck like Dooley. Ducking the groupies. I'm not the type to be choosy. I gotta ride with the tool. I thought you knew me. I don't gotta go to no job. Rapping and chopping my duties. Smoke be thicker than Fox. Woods be bigger than logs. Yeah, I'm not your average buddy. Yeah, it's a couple of bands on a buddy. She gon' give me some head and get lucky. We could be on the beat somewhere lovely. I be mixing no walk with the bubbly. That's why she put no one above me. All my bitches bad as hell. We on top like chandelier. We make a movie, crib full of baddies and bougies. Glocks and fans and Uzi. I might pop out like John Wayne. Come through, sweet some bit like Nudie. I might pop out like John Wayne. Come through, sweet that bit like Nudie. All my bitches bad as hell. We on top like chandelier. We make a movie, crib full of baddies and bougies. Glocks and fans and Uzi. I might pop out like John Wayne. Come through, sweet that bit like Nudie. I might pop out like John Wayne. Come through, sweet that bit like Nudie. They calling me special. Diamonds be that's retarded. We got the best in the market. I'm in a Tesla full of chrome hearts. Pushing the button to park it. Got a dot on the shirt like Target. When I drop that picture.
Welcome, Mecca, man.
My brother. Long time we've been trying to do that.
Long time. And I'm gonna bring it back. When I was incarcerated a couple years ago, it was a video you did. I'm so that went viral, and them two verses you spit on them. I don't know I know you was running. Man, you hit my soul with that one, man.
Oh, man,
and you took it back to the crib, and little Haley was in there with some of the homies.
Yeah,
I saw some of the homies on there,
sure.
And you did your thing, man. And you eloquently spoke what Haitians all about. And ever since then, I said, man, I gotta meet this brother, man. I gotta talk to this brother, man, because it's a small world. We know mutual friends,
right.
So it's great to have you here. And when I seen you that day when you spoke, I said, man, I gotta get this man on this podcast, man.
We here, baby. We here, man. I appreciate you, and I appreciate platforms like this because in this new era of podcasting, and I think it's just another avenue for us.
Right.
You know, this is not flyers anymore.
Right.
You know what I mean, this is like, it's not demo tapes anymore.
Right.
We could do this live.
Right.
We could stream this. We leaving digital footprints right now. What we say is like, this is for generations to hear.
Long after we're gone. Long after we're gone. And that's what I like to tell people. I said, man, have a purpose in life now. Because there's so many ways to leave a positive legacy. You know, why not think big? Why not have a street name after it? And that's what I tell my little homies now. I just told little homie that the other day. I said, you did it in the street, but let's think bigger. Let's think global. Leave an impact. You know what I'm saying? Not just for you, for your kids, man. You know what I'm saying? That hood you represent, try to get a street name after you, man. But they can't erase what you've done out here. So that's why I create these platforms. That's why I'm so big on bringing people such as yourself that I know are making an impact in this world. And sometimes them people, those I like to call our oppressors, don't want you to have that light. They want to push that bigotry, want to push that negativity. They want us to crash. But you are the one that you're with the youth. Just at Martin Luther King, I seen you walking with the kids, role models. So let's talk about that. What I just recently seen you do.
All right. Well, that's the 5,000 role models, and I can't front. I'm not gonna lie. That wasn't recent. That wasn't this Martin Luther King.
Okay.
And I even said in the caption, because I never want nobody to call me out my lane.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I said that I wasn't able to make this year's breakfast.
Right.
But these are some images from past breakfasts and past parades that the 5,000 role models was a part of.
What got you into that 5,000 role models?
Man, it was a blessing. I was teaching conflict resolution and aggression control at the Black Police Precinct and Courthouse Museum in Overtown.
Wow.
And the first black police chief of the city of Miami, Chief Dixon, Chief Clarence Dixon, the first black police chief in the city of Miami Police. You hear me?
Yeah, I remember that.
So he passed through there. He was very active there because that was a hub for the first 5 black police officers that got hired in 1945. No gun, black police officers got hired by the city of Miami Police.
But couldn't have a gun.
But couldn't have a gun.
Wow.
But still calling her, you know.
Yes.
So this building was like a small hub. It's expanded now, but it was a small hub where the police officers, the first precinct. So now it's a museum. So they kept. So I was teaching there. Chief Dixon, found out who he was just from him passing through there. He was a very active member. He was retired at the time, and he saw the work that was being put in with the youth. The 5,000 role models were already coming there.
Right.
For conflict resolution, to see what a mock trial is like, to see what a jail is like, to, you know what I'm saying? And you speak on that more than, you know, any of us. You know, we just trying to steer our youth away from
that life
progression in that life. And so and yeah, so our bond at that time is what created. He's like, you got to get inducted. He said it's brothers like you that's doing this type of work behind the scenes, you know, that need to be part of the 5,000 role models so that you can expand your platform. And it did. And so I met Congresswoman Frederica Wilson. I know his son very well, Paul. You know what I mean? Paul Wilson. And congratulations to Paul. He just got an award at the last breakfast.
Right.
And you know, so once that bond was there, they saw the work outside of what they were just asking me to do, because they call on us to be big brothers and mentors for these young black youth that get locked up in the system. You know
but I asked how many youth did you, what's the word that you adopt? What's the word that you were able to mentor?
Oh, I'm still I don't think there's a number on that.
Wow.
Because it's like even today, I'm part of an aftercare program.
Wow.
And that mentorship is like ongoing. It doesn't stop. You know, and that's what I'm saying. Like with the 5,000 role models, they saw work being done outside of just, you know, us going to visit jails and visit schools and providing life skills for this youth. And so they were like, yo, this dude's, you know, cultural ambassador in the Haitian community. He's doing this, you know, he's going to Haiti on missionary trips. And this is not stuff that, like, I mean, we talking about it, you know what I mean? But it's like, yo, I do this in steps as it comes. It's not something that I'm like, yo, I need the light on to make this happen. You know what I mean? You can't do it.
Actually, this is, I didn't know you were doing all of that. This is humanitarian work that you're doing. You're actually showing the selfless side of it, because you don't really need to be doing it, but you do this effortlessly and selflessly.
I can't stay still, my brother. I can't. If I tell you how many projects I pick up and how many I say that I'm gonna start them, bring them to fruition, it's crazy. I can't stay busy. You know, I mean, I can't stay like not busy. You know what I mean? I gotta be moving.
Right.
I'm always trying to think of something else that I could possibly do to impact the community, impact my people, or even better myself. So if that's life, then it's ever evolving.
So we're here. Let's go back to who you were when you were young. The household you come from, how many of siblings were in the household with you? How many? Did you come from a single parent household, or were both your parents there? Let's go back.
I was very honored, you know, with the climate of today. I was very honored, privileged to be raised by both parents.
Wow.
And my brother, that we still close together. That's my brother. So it was the four of us in the home. It's like a pretty picture, you know what I mean? And that picture didn't get disrupted. Like my mom and parents, my mom and dad still alive. And my brother,
they are.
Yeah. And my brother's doing good for himself.
Right.
And like, yo, we talking about how the age that we are right now, how fortunate we are to still have our parents.
Did your parents migrate over here, or were they born in the United States?
Nah, my parents are from Haiti.
Okay. So they migrated over here.
They migrated over here in the late 60s. I would say like 67, 68.
Okay.
After a year of being here, then I was, you know, the seed was planted.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And so, boom. Then I came 4 years later, my brother came.
So let me ask you, where were you born?
Brooklyn, New York.
Brooklyn, New York. So they migrated to New York in the cold. We're talking about Haitian parents.
Yeah.
How
There's
was
a lot
that?
of Haitians up there, though. It seemed like Boston.
Boston,
Canada,
New York. Yes,
New York.
yes,
A lot of Haitians just go up there.
So how did they tell you how was the struggle for them acclimating in a new world, as we call it?
What's crazy is like the struggle is not what you see now. They saying that it was a lot easier. Like hamburgers were like 25 cents. Stuff was cheap.
Yes,
you can bring in somebody. It wasn't this. There was no deportation. Actually, it was people bringing in family members.
Yes.
You know what I
Yes,
mean?
they were.
Stuff was cheap, and my parents, because they learned the skill, they were fortunate enough to get skilled jobs. So at that time, in a time where stuff was cheap, we were like, you know, like I would say, kind of like in the middle class at that time growing up. I don't have that, you know, like, yo, we was, you know,
I got you.
whatever me and my brother wanted to do is because we wanted to stray away from
At your own discretion.
Yeah, at our own discretion, because we was either being followers or didn't appreciate what we had.
So when you say being followers, give us a time when you thought you were being a follower, or when you were being a follower, when you assess it.
I think just kind of like having this love for the streets that makes you not sleep, make you not want to go home, make you do things that your parents would disapprove of to the highest degree, you know what I mean? And so I'm talking about, things like that, you know what I'm saying, that would like stray you away from that family, everything that they were trying to provide for us.
So when did you find yourself out that warmth, that structure with the four of you all, when you had to find yourself and get out that, how would I say it, that comfort zone?
Right. I think that we moved to Florida. The whole time we being raised is beautiful out there. We went to private school. You know what I mean? Can't front about none of that. You know what I mean? We went to private school. Parents just
so your parents really thought the best for you and your brother to send you to private school.
Yeah, they sacrificed because they just, again, like I told you, because they learned the skill, they was able to do more.
Right.
And so part of that was hearing about the killings. New York was no joke, even at that time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, it's crazy now, but even at that time.
Right.
So they weren't going to let their black boys go to public school and probably get bullied or whatever. So in their minds, private school was what was, the next best thing. You know what I mean? So, to keep us safe. It didn't stop us from being in the streets, and that's what I'm saying. Actually, I wanted to be out there even more because I was missing. I felt like I was missing.
Shelter.
Yeah. So, and I was out there more. You know what I'm saying? That's the crazy, contrast of it all. You could be homegrown, whatever.
Right.
Like they provide everything for you, but you just want to bust out that shell and be rebellious at times, and anything that'll cause you to just, stray away and do your own thing. But when we moved to Florida, I was like about 15 years old.
Right.
And I had time to think because now I'm not back home. Like I was starting to play football up top. I was, just, hitting the teenage years, just starting to get around, getting girlfriends, stuff like that. Now we gotta move.
Right.
I still can't, I'm not old enough to be on my own. I don't got it like that, so I gotta follow my parents.
That was a big transition for adolescent to everything that he knows then to be the rug to be pulled. Now you in a whole new climate, a whole new environment, a whole new culture.
Listen, man.
That's a culture shock.
And then you take a New Yorker.
Yeah, that's a culture shock.
You know what I mean? And you bring him to Florida back in those days where this is 85 you're talking about. So I'm telling them my age. I was gonna try to stay away from the year.
Right.
But you know what I mean? We can't, you know what I'm saying? We gotta
shy away, we gotta tell them how it is.
We got Cat Williams out here. We gotta put out the truth. You know what I mean?
Right.
I moved out here in 85. You feel me? And this was really the retirement era. If anybody was thinking about buying property or setting up shop, it was that time. But you would have had to have an advanced mindset. Back then it was country, straight up. It was just like, we was out here just, you know what I mean? Like, when I was observing what I was observing, I was like, it's not like that New York suburb feel.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's a different vibes.
Right.
Strawberries. You know what I mean? All of that. That's back in the day.
You get all the seasons.
Records. My first record was like Throw That D and Disco Rick and the Dogs. You know what I mean? And so, like, definitely a culture shock, coming out here and hearing all of that. But gained another appreciation for the diversity of different cultures. And I think at that time when I had time to think and also had time to like when I was in New York, I was around a lot of Haitian people, but family, you know what I mean? Because I was going everywhere my parents would go. When I came down here, started to have my own car, you know what I mean? I'm hitting teenage years, I'm getting around. Now I'm like, Little Haiti. You know what I mean? We was in North Miami Beach. I'm going down to Little Haiti. That's where my peoples is at. Plus, I'm working with my brother Dietrich Val and Ron Francis. They was the first cast that produced me back in the days with my man Mighty Buddha, Enough Chaos. Okay. So Dietrich Val, real intricate because they produced a lot of my tracks and they lived in Little Haiti.
So we were talking about when did you find out you was in love with music? When did that come about?
So let's go back to New York.
We got to.
All right, so let's go back to New York. 8 years old. I'm in New York, and
they like to say that's the omega for music. That's where everything started with music. But let's go.
Not even just the music, the hip hop, because that's what I fell in love with. You know what I mean? Like, So it was birthed in the Bronx, but I lived in Queens. I was born in Brooklyn, raised in Queens, but Queens is where I was kind of independent, listening to my pops 8-track. You you know, when they talk about 8-track and using the scotch tape to fix the tape and all of that.
I know about
my tape pop and all that. That was real. That's real. And so,
or nail polish, the clear nail polish. Come on, man.
We good. So I would say like 8, 9 years old, I was already going down to the basement listening to Mr. Magic, WBAU, Garden City, you know, Kiss.
So that was like the sanctuary?
Definitely the basement. We had a basement. It was using my pop's equipment. So my pop's equipment was set up. I try to remember how his stuff was set up. I could never get it right. So you already know he knew every time I
playing with
some stuff.
Playing with.
And I get in trouble for it, but that didn't stop me from going back and checking out the love that I started to have for this thing called hip hop.
So you were 8 years old.
I'm 8 years old.
So now we bringing it to Florida, in Little Haiti. You getting your music produced.
Oh yeah.
Now you picking up the mic. Now everything that you were practicing back then, you're actually channeling it, manifesting it.
Yeah, it was even channeling it back then. Cause remember, I was like from 8 to 15 in New York already. Had 2 hip hop groups. Shout out to my man Don P, Rob, Jace, Vincent. You know what I mean? Like the whole crew, Trap. You know, so I had a clip back then. We was rapping.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? My man Rob. So we were rapping back then. We had a clip. And so when I came out here, it was just another channeling. It was a different vibe now. But now I'm out here dolo, and I got my crew with me. You know what I mean? So now I'm a solo artist, and I'm still finding my way because now I'm hearing different types of music, but still boasting about how I'm a New York cat up top living down here.
So how did that dynamic play? I know it was kind of some pushback at times, and sometimes it was embraced. So how did that go?
I mean,
it's because it's pros and cons to it.
Yeah, it was balanced out. I wasn't the type of dude that was arrogant about it. You know what I mean? I met dudes from up top that came before me. And, you know, so we had a little clique. I kind of like, you know, it was until I found out who was who and stuff like that. And then I got down with the ball team. So I kind of have to make pretty quick. I'm going to prove that. You know what I mean? I try to just, you know what I'm saying? I don't want no problems. I'm the real man. If I could even get away from the States, man, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, I just want to go chill someplace now. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, like just it was definitely a different dynamic, you know, moving out here and hearing different types of music. I fell in love with music when I was in New York, and then we came out here, started forming the groups. Shout out to Money D, shout out to my brother Ike, rest in peace. There was just different other cliques dudes that kept me sharp. You know what I mean?
Y'all challenged me.
Yeah. Definitely the battling thing was in full effect, and you know, and so there's a community of hip hoppers I started to find out, you know, that was out here, and it started to grow and grow. I wasn't the only one that kind of felt like I'm from up top, but you know what I mean? Like I rap a certain way, and it's not like this, maybe the beats that I choose, but I still embrace the love of the weather and where I was at. And still got along with the homies, you know what I'm saying? Like I played ball, so you already know, like it was all love.
Okay, so what school did you go out to when you landed in North Miami Beach? When y'all resided in North Miami Beach? What school?
North Miami Beach.
So now you're in a public school, so that's different.
Yeah.
So
well, I was already doing 2 years in Bayside.
Okay.
So I was already doing 2 years in public school, Bayside High, in New York. So I come out here, I'm a junior and I'm a senior, which is a crazy disconnect, because now you're taking the cat out of high school. Yeah. You know, he got 4 years. He started doing his first two. Just start getting to know the girls. Just start getting on the ball team.
So how did that play?
I had to try even harder on the football team because
they didn't recognize you.
It's not that they didn't recognize me. Understand that cats that was there before me had, you know, it's like
had relations.
Yeah, but I like that word, relationships.
Yeah, they have.
Because if you the coach and you know this cat is a junior or senior and he going off to college, scouts is looking at him, you got to put him in the game. Whether he doing good or not, kind of used to be that. You know,
I know them since middle school.
Opportunity.
I knew them since middle school. Your new cat is like, I'm gonna put you in front.
But you still can't deny it.
Talent.
You can't deny it.
The talent.
Know what I'm saying?
The talent.
And up there's a lot more aggressive. You know what I'm saying? At least what they put me through in the cold. You know what I mean? We was playing ball in the cold.
Yeah, that is different.
You know, we talking about like, you know what I'm saying, like high school. So I came out here, the heat bust my ass too. But I just had to tough it out. I think when you faced with challenges, you gotta either you're gonna rise or you're gonna fall. You know what I'm saying? What you gonna do? So I'm faced now with like, man, these dudes been here already 2 years. They got first. It would have been the same at my school. I ain't mad. I just gotta do more. You know what I mean? So, But I did. That's what I did.
So you ended up in the starting lineup.
I did more.
Wow.
My senior year, at least, I was, you know what I'm saying, like starting.
Right.
You know what I mean? I can't say my junior year, you know what I mean?
Right. You just got it.
As it grew.
So what position did you play?
Defensive end in high school. Then I got a scholarship to Scottsdale Community College, but the grade still wasn't right. And then from that time when you was talking about how I derailed and stuff like that, I would say that's another time that I just kind of like lost focus of my football situation, because I was talking about I'm coming back home to try on to a team, but never really put in the work to do that. I kind of love for the music kind of took over, but now I'm back home with the homies.
Conflict.
And yeah, so I'm back home with the homies, and that's popping off now. Music is popping off.
Yeah.
What you gonna do? Like, I got, I love the football thing.
Either practice or let's get to the studio.
Go out there in the sun, boom, whatever, or go in the studio and come up with stuff that people appreciate and that's getting on the radio. Shout out to Jill Tracy, back in the days, rest in peace. Yo, she played our joint on the radio. That was unheard of, playing independent stuff on the radio.
What station we talking about right now?
105, yeah. She was on the radio back then, and she.
So you're on the radio. You're on the radio station. Like
I'm sorry, I want to take that back. She's on 105 now. I know how they sometimes.
Right. Switch
and just to my recollection, I want to say EDR now, but shout out to both stations that have been holding us down with music.
They were playing your music.
Yeah.
So
playing music.
At what age were you when you heard your first music played
on radio?
Yeah, on the radio. Ooh, and how was that feeling?
Oh man, I was already in my 30s, because I'm a lot older than the dudes.
Right.
You know what I mean? I was probably like in my 30s when DJ Suicide used to be on 99 Jams. He used to play my joint in the mix, DJ Suicide. So, you know what I mean? So, he was slipping my joint in the mix. Super Cindy was slipping my joint in the mix. Jill Tracy, rest in peace, was slipping, by DJ Fats in West Palm Beach. So, stuff was getting traction, especially with the brotherhood of like Haitians started to hear like, oh snap, Creole rap. It's like a little bit of that, Sakpa say da 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 is on the radio.
But you do come from the era when you hear a lot, my brothers and then when I hear how when you were a Haitian, that was not something that you wanted to announce proudly at that time.
Right.
Because it was repercussion for that.
Yeah.
Do you remember that time, that era time?
Yeah.
And how did you go about that?
In New York,
down here.
In New York, I got bullied.
You got bullied in New York because of that.
Yeah, I got bullied straight up in New York.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So then when I moved, came out here, there was that like, even till today, I teach today. And my kids, if they gonna curse out another kid, I hear one of them say like, shut up, you Haitian.
I didn't even know that was still going on.
Is that a derogatory? Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Ones that are arrogant and still probably, you know what I mean? So follow the media and stuff like that. So I definitely remember going through, when I came out here, I didn't really get that as much because we was all over anyway. And Zopan already did work out here. He already had laid the foundation. And what I could say about that is that, like when we was getting beat up on Fridays, he used to go around the schools and like, that's not happening. Like, show me who, like where. You know what I'm saying? Who's beating up who?
Right.
Not today.
Right.
Not this Friday.
Right.
And so, you know what I'm saying? If there's any grain of like, you know what I'm saying? I know people be dropping dirt on, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just want to say that I remember. You know what I'm saying? They was going around to different schools like, who? All you had to do was place that call like, dudes is getting jumped over here. Dudes getting jumped over here at such and such. Morningside, whatever it was.
Right.
And dudes was like following up.
Right.
Ain't no not today.
Not no beat up Fridays. Friday beat downs.
And so that started to give dudes inspiration, like, a little feat to be like, yo, we gotta be proud of this together. When we stick together, we can do things together.
What made your communication, man, is your communication skills is like at a bar that I can't use words to express where it's at.
You playing because you eloquent too, my brother, man. You stop that.
Where did you find, where did the love for words come from?
Oh, I like that. I want to say, from New York, I've always been a lyricist from them. Let me tell you what's crazy is like before,
it's crazy you use the word lyricist because it's a difference between. It's a difference.
So before you even heard hip hop on the radio,
right?
Imagine hip hop didn't just pop up on the radio. Somebody had to hear it it was a buzz in the street, and somebody heard it, and then Sylvia Stone did that. You know what I mean? So we was listening and doing this stuff before we even heard the record. By the time we heard the record, we was like, yo, it's possible. It's crazy. Listen to this. Like what we've been doing, just chatting back and forth. And this is like 9-10 years old.
Right.
And this is early in the hip hop history. Now we like, oh man, like look at this. You know, of course there was some setbacks too because people didn't think that was real hip hop. You know what I mean? There was some clicks that felt like that was the sellout. You know what I mean? Like just like how people hear different records and say like that's mainstream and that's underground. They used to have a different weight. Underground meant real, mainstream meant. But now we ask to be like, yo, we ask to be part of categories and part of mainstream, respected category of music.
For your craft.
That's not a sellout situation. We put music together.
Right.
You understand? So I'm not sure if I steered off of the actual question, but
no. Where do you fall? Where did the love for words come from?
Yeah. I would say since New York, since I heard music, I knew that was my lane. I wasn't a DJ. I did do the b-boy thing.
You was a b-boy?
Yeah, I was a b-boy too. Did a little break dancing, did a little pop rock. I was good at it too. I was slim and slender. I still mess with it every now and then. But the wordplay, being an orator, you know, being a lyricist, and I think it had a lot to do too.
Because you do poet and all.
I think it had a lot to do too with it helped me come out of my shell.
That's why I said that.
Yeah, because I was like, I was the firstborn, so it was quiet. We moved to a place, a new spot. My parents don't know the country like that. They raising me first for the first 4 years. So everything's like, you know what I'm saying, it's just me and my parents really rocking. And it's, you know, certain cousins, whatever, but still a small unit.
Right.
And so I had a lot of time to think to myself and develop my craft and shine and be like, yo, I want to be. And you know, I'll see certain cats and be like, yo, I like how they're being applauded and how their people like them.
Right.
And so I want to be like that as well. You know. And so, you know, some of that is emulation, but I think we all have models that we look up to as long as they're positive.
We all and sometimes it's negative. It's not always positive, but sometimes it is negative.
Yeah, for sure.
But sometimes
25 minutes.
Sometimes you could pull from a negativity and find positivity. Because like I always tell some people like to shoot the message. I say, listen to the message. Because sometimes the message you might not agree with who's saying it, but listen to the message. Because if you read the scriptures, I'm quite sure you do. God made a donkey talk to the person that was riding. So, and a donkey, as we know, is an ass. So it wasn't a donkey; it's the message. Listen to the message. So that's why I don't shy away from who's speaking to me. I listen to it, and if it's not for me, it's not for me. But I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna give that person the benefit of that because I can learn from it.
For sure.
So I like that. Right now, you got your own podcast going on. How's that going on? Because I see you on yachts and whatnot. In this, so talk to me.
On yachts, you see me on yachts. I'm doing movies.
Okay. But it's part of it. Part of your channel, your YouTube channel.
Yeah. Well, a couple of things going on, but what my focus is on now is I'm still acting. I got a movie called Queen's King out.
Okay.
You feel me? So I'm the lead actor.
You the lead actor of this?
The lead actor of this movie. It's called Queen's King.
Well, we can find that movie out right now.
We're gonna do a couple more premieres, and then we're gonna, you know, it's easier to contract with Tubi or whatever the administration situation.
Y'all go support him, man. Y'all support this black man right here. We need you all to fill up whatever theory it is at and support him. But go ahead.
My first movie was in 2006, Kidnappings. You can find that on my YouTube channel.
Okay.
That was years ago. That's probably like about
so 17,
18 years ago, 2008 or so. So I did that, but I didn't have no acting experience. But they thought that it was a decent play, and you just
it was natural.
That's what it was. It was natural. I had to play a boss. You know what I mean? Like boom, boom. I just sat with myself and was like, yo, what would, you know what I'm saying? Watched a couple of movies too.
Right.
And, you know, do a little study. So I didn't have no training, but I did what was necessary to kind of fit into that role. And it came off. I kind of like, you know, I played that role like a kingpin boss that was doing some kidnapping.
Right.
You know, in Haiti. And this is years before what we, you know,
before what you're doing right now.
We went to Haiti for like 21 days. And we shot it. We shot everything.
In Haiti?
We shot 90% of it in Haiti.
Wow.
Yeah, so we was out there deep, like in the trenches,
Right.
you know, doing that. Fast forward to right now, I did, you know, a whole bunch of movies, Burn Notice, I got commercials and stuff like that, but right now, yeah, this is the latest project right now. This is Queen's King by Universal. The new and improved, you know, second cut, director's cut, and you know, put it out there and see what it do. And then I think after we do a couple of these premieres in these different cities that really want it, I think we got Chicago, Atlanta, Boston, and then I think it's just going, you know, they're gonna kind of put it online. You know what I mean? So people can see, you know.
I love this.
So my brother.
Go ahead.
Shit's on Amazon Prime, shit is on Tubi.
You got shit on Tubi?
I got shit on Tubi already. A Miami Love Story. Yeah, a Miami Love Story. I did that with Florida Film House. Yeah, so.
Well, yeah, that came out.
That came out probably like about 2018, 2016.
So this is more recent than Kidnap. So
yeah.
So on the credits, how much credit on a movie's credit under your name? With your name running through the credits? If I had asked.
About 10.
Don't talk about all these movies, man. I didn't know you had that much on your belt. You got a catalog, man.
I mean, nah, it's a little something. Just go to the IDBM, you know what I'm saying? You see all the stuff, you know. Kidnappings was the very first thing that I didn't even know. I was just like, you know how everybody just want to think they can act. But then, you know, I went to a film festival and met, I forgot the brother's name, man.
It's crazy we talking about that, but he might be able to hook me up because my book come out this year. I got a book. I wrote several books, you know, and he'll tell me. I'm ready to turn them into little films, like Power. I'm ready to do a Power, man.
Do these short docs.
Yeah, I'm ready to do it.
Man, let's go. Let's get it back.
Yeah, so I wrote. So my first book come out in a couple months. I'm gonna see how it do, how people like it. It's really. I started back to rather than start at the beginning. I started towards the end.
And bring you forward.
Yeah,
I like seeing stuff like that.
so that's what I'm doing to tie up the book. We're gonna start. We're gonna start again.
It's really rolling.
It's already rolling.
Yeah, it's
I've been rolling on some natural.
Alright, so this is where we started at, bro.
Yeah.
Alright, so
So I got a few movies that's on Amazon Prime. I got on Tubi. You know what I'm saying? So you just, you know, go check them out, stuff like that. Kidnapping, that first movie I did because the digital platform wasn't there for things. You know what I mean? So I got that on my page. You can just go to Mecca A.K.A GRIMO.
it was hard to really promote how we got so much platform. Yeah, we got so much platform.
This is my first taste of social media was MySpace. You know what I mean? So that's MySpace days. And we were learning how to code and stuff like that.
Right.
And then we started to see the power of the digital influence. Everybody's online now, so now you gotta really do a fly thing and go hard like that.
You have, if your mama asks, how many films are credited with your name on it when they run the credits?
It's about like 10, 12 films.
And if my audience wanted to check your movies out, tell them where they can find you.
Yeah, so you just, my name is, kind of, out there in Google, you know what I'm saying? You put Mecca GRIMO, stuff will pop up. You know, on YouTube, stuff will pop up. On Google, stuff will pop up. Go on Tubi, Mecca GRIMO, stuff will pop up. Probably got like 2-3 movies that's on Tubi.
And spell Mecca GRIMO for my audience.
Mecca A.K.A GRIMO. Mecca A.K.A GRIMO.
Okay, so you got movies on Tubi. You got movies on Tubi. All these are independent films.
I'm in Burn Notice series also. Maybe about maybe five of the series. And one of them, I'm gonna tell people this: just always be present. If you could be present, it's a good thing. The lead dude that was supposed to play behind the boss dude was late, but I'm there as just a soldier. They say you play him.
Seriously?
I move up.
So you was an extra.
I was an extra.
Yeah, you was an extra.
Move up behind boss man. I'm boss man, like top security dude. You know what I mean? And with him in the truck and everything. And that's just from being present and being on time. Buddy had the slot, but he was late.
He was late. He lost that position.
So you never know. That's just a lesson. And so I took that lesson. And it didn't pan out like that all the time. But be present, because beautiful things will come out when you're present.
When you say the way I verbalize that, I say your best ability is availability. your best foot.
Yeah,
be available. If I know I can rely on you, I'm gonna give you everything that I want all the time. Because I know you're gonna be there. Why give it to someone that's gonna be late, that's not gonna be there? I don't want to deal with that person.
I think that I resonate with that with being a cultural ambassador because it doesn't matter what job I was doing. Like I was working at different jobs. When schools called me to speak to this youth, this is before I was even doing it. I was still hemmed up by like a job situation. Like I would make sure I get the time off because somebody asked me, booked me to go speak to these youth. I didn't want to miss that opportunity. Somebody else is gonna do that. You know what I mean? And they're not gonna get the full of what I feel like they should get. Not just somebody speaking to them, but somebody breaking down some like poetry or rapping to them about their culture or like what the flag means or whatever it might be. They resonate with it because it's the youth. So you gotta speak the language. I was their age too. You know what I'm saying? So that's just.
You resonate with them. They know where you came from. They know you are one of them.
And out here, North Miami Beach, Edison, it didn't matter where I went. You know what I'm saying? Those we were everywhere. So we got the love automatically, especially when I brought the rap Creole, like really to the schools and started doing the mixtape and started to really get a buzz.
You brought that, man. You're one of the ones that brought that. You know, the rapping in Creole, like they're doing it in Haiti now. Now I'm on YouTube. I'm seeing kids. I'm like, yo, is he rapping in English? Like they got the.
I don't want this to just be a soundbite. I didn't invent rapping in Creole.
Oh, I know.
And then dudes was doing it before me. But I think because I lived in the States and because of these people, DJ Suicide, Jill Tracy, Super Cindy, my cousin Who Kid, you know what I mean? People that was able to just throw the record out there. We got a little bit more play than some kids that just came out that we didn't have no marketing and promo power. But because we was coming out with something different, it had its own promo and marketing behind it. There was some young Haitian kids in the midst of people saying Haitians, whatever. We was coming out like with the flag high in the air at the Compa Fest. You feel me? And then not only that, at that time, this is 2004, 2005. We rapping in Creole. Shout out to Master G. A lot of MCs. So it was like at least in the States. You know what I mean? And then we connected with it.
We just continue.
And then we connected with an up top chapter of some dudes that was rapping in Creole that's, just as nice, if not nicer. Like, it wasn't just me doing it. And so, but we needed to form this link so that we could create a platform because when we were going to other stations, it was like, if y'all the only ones with rap Creole, we don't have a format.
It was like the Spanish when they were rapping in Spanish, the boys out of Canada, Mexicans, all.
But because they had so much music, they was able to dedicate an hour to that mix, like the reggaeton mix or whatever it was. But we was coming with the rap Creole at that time in 2004, 2005. They never heard of that. There was no platform for it. You know what I mean? So we needed to link up. I started getting in touch with some of my other dudes. Shout out Dr. Zoe. That's in IET right now. Bless up. You know what I mean? Like he's a dude that really like showed me mad love. You know what I mean? Like he had his own truck. We the only two that had our rap trucks with the Haitian flag and all of that.
Ride around North Miami with it. Back in 0102.
Shout out my brother Dr. Zoe. Salute to the fullest.
He got the for
sure. So Dr. Zoe showed me mad love and showed me the ropes in a way, kind of like with the rap Creole. Like boom. These people ain't gonna really like. They not feeling this kind of music. Rap Creole and compa wasn't really like. Now it's like you can't. It's blended. You know what I'm saying? You got rap Creole on compa and whatever. But at one time, rap Creole wasn't respected like that. Even though shouts out to Kalimi, they put me on a record with them. So I got a joint. I don't know if you know who Kalimi is. They're a Haitian band. They just did like some reunion in December in New York. Sold out the arena. First time Haitian band
sold out
the arena.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Any arena. Feel me? So shout out to Kylie Me because them boys put me on a record back in 2007, 2008. Once we started to launch off, we started to get a buzz. It was like, yo, let's get this, like some Creole rap. It wasn't even Creole rap. It was, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if that's what they wanted. They wanted something to cross over. And since I could rap in English and Creole, they just was like, yo, give us some English. We already doing Creole. We singing in Creole. We want the English so it could do the crossover stuff.
Right.
Let me rewind back a little bit. Shout out to Professor Griff, my man Society, my man Mighty Buddha. Professor Griff had left Public Enemy, came down here, Luke gave him a deal.
Right.
Society was doing graphics for Luke and Professor Griff. Society and Griff go back, so Griff kind of introduced Society to the situation. He was doing graphics for the whole label.
Okay.
Then it was Society's turn to really come out with a record. So Society dropped Yes Indeed. So we was a part of that. Myself, Mighty Buddha, and Professor Griff.
Right.
You know what I mean? From us nasty kids. And so we dropped the Yes Indeed album. I'm not sure if you ever heard that joint. Yes Indeed.
I was
Yes.
incarcerated.
Even in there.
No, but the thing
This is 91.
Oh, no.
This is 91.
I didn't catch that.
This is 91. It's a record that goes, yes indeed, yes indeed,
I didn't catch that.
yes indeed. I gotta swing that record to you. So it's on Luke Records. It was the only hip hop act that was signed. So
And you was on there.
Yeah, so it's kind of weird. You know what I mean? Because we was like, he really like signed a hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
and we toured with Trelawney. We toured with H Town. You know what I mean? Like,
You got a catalog, man. You been doing this for a while,
it's a
man.
little history right there. You know what I'm
You
saying?
gave me a nice little history.
Shout out to Verb, shout out to Pitbull, rock rolling with us at that time. Before Pitbull was Pitbull.
Pitbull, look
You know what I mean? Pitbull had locks, you know what I mean? Like, so before the cleaned up Pitbull. But yeah, we used to like be traveling all over, under Luke. Luke was the dude at that time, you know.
So you were touring with Luke back then?
Yeah, was touring in Luke, I would say like from like 91 to 93, pushing the album, pushing the EP. Yeah, pushing the EP. So we was doing it up from there.
So you was in the music game for a long time. You got at least 30 years invested in it. 40 years invested in it.
Probably, you know what I'm saying?
Do you think the music game had treated you with love? The love that you have for it, do you think it's reciprocated?
It's crazy you ask me that because
I gotta ask you that.
a lot of times I mope around and say like I should have had more stake in the game. But at the same time, my lady tell me, she's like, you don't know what kind of stake you're talking about. You're talking about a position, but you could have had a disease. Because you were ahead of dudes, or you could have, you know what I'm saying, or a nigga could have murked you for a jacket or something. So you gotta appreciate your time, the present time, and all of the lessons that have come before you, especially if you're still alive and you're healthy and you got nothing to complain about.
She said something so powerful. You mentioned to me that you just said that it was because the woman, she said, be appreciative where you at now because you don't know what would have come had you had a bigger stake. Elaborate on that again.
I was saying that, I felt like with the time and the work that we put into the music and as many places that we've been to sacrifice blood, sweat, and tears, that I should have had a bigger stake in the game. But that's unfair to say too, you know what I mean? Because you just gotta go where life sets you. You know what I'm saying? When I talk to my lady and I tell her like, yeah, I should have been da-da, and she be like, yeah, but you could have been da-da-da too. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? You could have been in the way of other things also. You never know what could have happened. Or if you would have stayed in New York, you know what I mean, with the clique and whatever. You never know. So you just, and what I'm saying is like, but then it might never happen also. I probably could have been. But the story and the lesson is to appreciate the present, who you are, where you are, and not what you could have been, you know what I mean? But still use that as fuel. You know what I mean? Use that as fuel to just do better and not miss the next opportunities
I
coming up
respect
in
that
life.
perspective, man. Love what you got. Love what you could.
Of course, why not respect that? Wake up every morning. Come on, man.
Listen, like so many times, and when you think, and if you go down that route, you go, then that's when the enviness, the jealousy, that's when all that comes to anger,
the hate.
Yeah, the hate. That because you're gonna be like, that should have been me. That should.
Anger.
But when you are content with that means you're at peace.
Right.
That's what you're telling. You're at peace. However it plays out, I'm at peace, and that's the greatest gift that God could give you. When you finally find that peace, man. Man, that's that.
It's crazy though that we wait all these years to really know what that is. You know what I'm saying? To put yourself in that position, we put ourselves through so much strife, put our bodies through certain things, and to come out and say like, man, I wish I would. You know what I mean? Like,
but it takes growth. It takes growth. It takes maturation. Yeah. And like they said, you heard it from your woman, but they say a woman grows mature faster than men.
Right.
But I like to tell people, and people hate to hear it, we're at a pinnacle of an age. I like to say this is our prime years. Because if you read scriptures, most men in the scriptures, they don't find themselves until they well over 40 years old.
Right.
So we have people who are 18, 19, 20, 30 still trying to fit. No. If I go in the scriptures, man, and tell you about the Bible, man, Moses, Joshua, all these men were over 40 years old when God finally blessed them and gave them that peace that we're talking about.
Yeah.
So you're at an age right now, man. Enjoy it, man. Enjoy everything that God has allowed you to accomplish throughout the past, so you can become the man that you are now. Cause I admire you, bro. When I seen you that day, when you the mic kept hating on you because it kept cutting off out there. But when I seen you speaking, man, you was telling our girl, the comedian, what's her name again?
I forgot her name.
Elizabeth. Okay. When Elizabeth was sharing her story, and you had another perspective. You like, when my mom and dad, when they talked down on me, I felt like they were challenging me.
Yeah.
And it didn't bring me down. Right. It made me want to prove them wrong.
Yeah. It made me feel, going back to how they were raising me, I knew that they were concerned about my well-being. But we were kids. We wanted to be out in the street. Ain't nothing gonna happen. But they got third sight.
They do. They do. They've been here before us.
Stuff can happen. They were kids too. So they got foresight and they're like, nah, a straight bullet. Or hit by a car. Or da-da-da. So they're like, nah, after it get dark, we need y'all in the house. Play in the daytime. But after you hear dad whistle, it's a wrap. You better
come inside.
2-3 blocks away. You better hear that whistle. I used to hear that whistle 3 blocks away. We was trained.
So how did that? So you said I heard it 3 blocks away. So how? Because you're a father. You're a father of how many kids right now?
I'm a father of 2.
Of 2 kids.
Yeah.
How did the parenting of your parents help you raise your kids?
Oh, very intricate. My father's still in my life today. Everything that my father represented, I took that, internalized it, and then also myself maturing, my mother's love, both of them became, that's why I feel like, definitely both parents is very intricate. They both have a balance in the household. Can you do it without it? Of course you can, and it has been done, and great people have come out of those situations.
Right.
But I think it'd be a lighter load on the mom that held that son down. Some gives her so much credit.
So you were saying that it's good to have both parents, but we know there's single parents out there that are doing it on their own. But it is definitely less of a burden if both parents are active in the household raising a child.
I think that most times make no mistakes. Right, man and woman, and they both play a role in the household, and it revolves in situations where you teach your kids basic life skills, and they amount to be the individuals that you are, and even better, and then do the same thing again. You know what I'm saying? And just multiply and just keep teaching that next generation, the principles of life, and ethics and the morals of life. You know what I'm saying? Survival. Self-preservation.
So, do your son or your children, do they know who their father is? Who's really their father? Sometimes you hear that there's children that they really don't know who their parents are until they look at Dad is really big out here. Like, do they really know who you are? Like your alter ego, your persona?
I don't think they really know. I mean, they hear about it. My daughter has her friends. She goes to places, and I'm hosting. And she's like, wait a minute. She'll send pictures. My daughter pictures. Like, is this your dad?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like in the same space, like whatever is going on. So there are instances that happen, and I think her, because she's outdoor, but I don't think they know the magnitude of the work. But I used to carry them around with me everywhere.
Right.
Mom used to work. I was in the daytime hustling, like with the stuff, passing out flyers. They used to be with me at the concerts.
Right.
Had them with their little 80 t-shirts on, whatever it is, promoting too.
Right.
They were billboards.
Making billboards,
yeah. So, how cute. Had the little, my son had the, and we got like tons of pictures. So they've been through the experience. Do they remember a lot of that? Maybe not, but the culture's been ingrained in them to the point where now they look back on the legacy on these digital footprints, and they know there was no fronting from the time that they were born to right now about who they were. You know what I mean? Their background, their culture, the food that they ate, anything about culture that, you know, related to like who they were, they knew.
Where does that come from, though? The love and passion that you have for our country.
Ooh. I mean, first of all, I think that, you know, because I am Haiti, I am Haiti, you know what I mean? I think that we have an obligation. I started doing it because of the love for the music, and even then I just wanted to represent the culture. After that, I started to see some voids. And so it's not just the music, but my nonprofit, we do cultural workshops.
What's your nonprofit name?
Children's Hope Chest and Dreams.
Repeat that. Yeah. Repeat what you just said.
So the nonprofit is Children's Hope Chest and Dreams, A.K.A DBA Fepuli, in the you know, in the Haitian community, because we don't do only work in the Haitian community, but most of the work is done in the Haitian community. We've actually focused more, even though we were like broad, we're like, hold up, our community needs lots of our energy instead of spreading ourselves so thin. So we create cultural workshops to just educate the youth about culture, educate the youth about community, have discussions, use the arts, you know, to promote all of that. Whether it's painting, whether it's poetry, Poetic Lakai is something that I used to host.
So if one of my audience wanted to donate to your nonprofit, where would they go?
They can go to the website. We got a donate button on the website, www.fepuli.org. That's FEPOULI.org. Fepuli.org. You'll see descriptions of the workshops, a lot of the work that we do, places that we've been to, working with the youth, and a lot of the resume, you know, kind of speaks for itself also. Even when we started from back in the days, when we went to different cities, I wanted to go to a school. I didn't just want to go to the club in that city and make my bread. I stayed a day after to make sure, like, if there was a school that we could come speak to these Haitian boys and girls. What's a school that's predominantly Haitian out here? They have had an artist or like come to the school now. Let's go to this inner city school, and you know, we'll call the principal, talk it up. My brother was very, you know, like that dude. Like you asked me who I get it from. I got a younger brother, but he's very, you know, he's a private investigator. He's very elegant. He's a business dude.
Right.
And so I get a lot of qualities from my younger brother.
Okay.
You know, I mean, you be thinking it's like reverse, but you get very organized, very disciplined. So I get a lot of qualities actually from him.
Wow.
Yeah. So shout out to my brother Gary Blaze. What it is, you already know what it is. You know, he's gonna love that shout out.
You're right. No, but I'm loving it. You see me, like I'm hypnotized right now. I'm like, man, like it let me know so much more I could be doing, man, because I have a nonprofit organization, and I tell everybody, man, it's everybody can be doing it. I'm not gonna be in competition with you because it's enough for all of us be doing it to help the youth. This is the future generation we're talking about, man. And when my daughter just had a birthday, and you know,
congratulations, happy birthday to be celebrated.
And shout out to my daughter. I'm proud of everything she's doing, but my empathy go out to parents who've lost kids.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And I could actually say I was part of that cycle at one point in time that perpetuated this. And to see years later, decades later, it is still going on where parents are burying their kids. It kills me. Right? Because these killers are senseless. It's for no reason. When we see black on black crimes, parents, I think one just recently happened down south Florida City. A kid as young as 13 years old, like, had so much life.
Play ball, all of that, you know what I mean?
It affects me. It affects me in ways beyond, because like I said, I have my daughter. I can only imagine me burying my daughter, and to know I was part of that cycle, like was indifferent. Like at one point I was numb to it, but I am unnumb because I know we're all God children. And I love the fact that you're doing so much for the youth with your nonprofit. It let me know that I need to be doing more. And I commend you, my brother. Like, keep pushing at it because you're changing lives. You might not see it. know what I'm saying? Like Tupac said, man, if I could just plant that one seed, I don't care how many I can talk to them, but if I could just change one, that one might change the world. That one that I speak to might be the one that change everything that we're talking about. So the fact that you're doing it constantly.
That's how I think though. I mean, if it's just
keep
one.
doing it. Keep
that's
doing
how it was with the schools. Like I'm telling you, I'm almost about to get fired at my job because I got to take an extra day that I don't even have to go to the school to promote my culture. And when that wasn't happening, I was like, the dynamics got to change. I got to get out of the 9-to-5 routine and entrepreneur and be more of an entrepreneur where I got control of my own
if that door shut, God got other plans for you.
Of course.
Brother, you doing great.
And that's what he did though. That's exactly what he did. Well, you know what I mean? So that door did shut. And that was the situation. When that door shut, I thought life was over.
He opened a whole nother door that you didn't even know was there.
10 more doors.
You didn't even know was there. But that door had to shut for all the other doors.
No doors shut down, so 10 more. I would never be talking to you right now. Because I'd be stuck at a job to where I'd be scared to just walk off this cliff here. You understand me?
That comfort zone.
A lot of people are comfortable. That's why 85% will always be in their ways. You understand? And a very, very small amount will break out of the cycle and not necessarily be prosperous financially, but at peace like you're talking about.
Man, shout out to my brother Doggy, man. I don't know, man. Me and him had a conversation the other day. He picked one word, and the one word that he picked out, man, was uncomfortable. Get out there. Meaning that he wants to put himself in uncomfortable situations so he can be anointed, and that bubble he's in can expand. Because like you said, so many people are scared thinking that they're gonna fall off the cliff, but I'm always going back to the scripture because I'm a God. I'm not religious. I'm just a God-fearing man, and I feel like the Bible stands for basic instruction before leaving earth. I tell people all the time, it's everything's in the took place before we've done it. It's still going on. And
shout out Killer Priest.
Like Joshua, it was a scripture with Joshua. You see, Moses, he lifted up a staff to split the Red Sea. But with Joshua, it was a passage with Joshua where they said he had to put his foot inside of the Jordan River in order for it to split. Had he never did that, it would never have split.
He didn't have the same.
He didn't have the same authority that Moses had when Moses split the Red Sea. Meaning that sometimes you have to take that leap. You have to put your foot in there.
Yeah.
In order for God to do the rest.
Gotcha. Nah, I truly believe that. He definitely, he wants to see you put that effort in there because you're a vessel that he put on earth. He wants you here to be progressive. He wants you here to not poison the vessel that we put here for you to live your purpose.
Right.
Shout out to everybody who finds a purpose in this life because it's sad when you go through all your life and never really know
your purpose,
what you are here to do. When you never really know what you're here to do, it's almost like you spinning your wheels, you know what I mean? Like you're just living, but
taking up space.
Imagine you know what you're here to do. Imagine everybody here knows
what we're here to do,
what they purpose, and everybody's purpose is different.
It is.
You know what I mean?
My purpose might not be your purpose,
but we
have a purpose in life. We still alive. We still alive. Man, and it goes back to what you were saying, man. And I tell people this all the time. Look how you said you was there all the time as an extra. But because you was there on time, God gave you that role. And I like to tell everybody's a movie star. But play your position. Sooner or later, God gonna make you the lead of your own movie. Because this is just I call it a big movie. You know, we all want to be this celebrity. No, play your role. God got that time where he's gonna put that light on and it's only gonna be about you. But he wanna see if you're able to handle the little bit that he give you. Or are you gonna be here saying, you know what, I hate my life, I hate my apartment, I hate this car. But this car bring you this places. The house is a roof over your head. The apartment is a roof over your head. But here you are complaining. So why would he give you more if you complain about the little bit he give you? Appreciate what you have. Love what you have. Then he gonna bless you with more.
Effortless.
Abundant.
In abundance. Yeah.
Listen.
I like that.
3 years ago, I did not see us having this conversation because I was in a dark place. I was in a cell. They was seeking the lethal injection with me. They wanted to put me on the shelf, strap me up, and dose me up with whatever poison that they had waiting for me. But I never accepted that. I never accepted that. In that cell I was in, I never accepted that. I cried out to God and I said, take this cup of wrath away from me. This cup of wrath that you got from me, for all the times that I was disobedient, for all the times that I sinned, I transgressed, I commit iniquity. Take this cup away from me. I give my life to you. And when you, this time around, when you let me go, that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. That's why I got Concrete Keep It Real. That's why I have my nonprofit. People would never understand unless they're placed in my shoes. Right. You understand? They had to be placed in my shoes to understand. So when I gave my life to God, when I told God, if you take this cup of wrath away from me, I know he saw my heart because he took that cup away from me. Because he could have easily made me drink that. Right. And when I mean drink that, I could easily right now be on death row. And that would have been my cup of wrath for all the chaos I committed. I've acted upon society. But karma comes in two though. Right. Karma, people think karma is always bad. Karma is good too.
No, definitely karma is good.
So when people hear karma, it's like, karma ain't always bad. That's good karma.
There's good karma.
And you're reaping yours. Right. You're reaping yours. Exactly. And yours is peace. That's what when your wife told you that, like she gave you that peace. Because that's the same thing with me. When I bring it to when my girl had it was a position when they came with me with the plea deal. And this is what my girl said. I felt like I should not be here. These dudes lying on me. But my girl daddy told me, like, he said, if you keep fighting, who said tomorrow you might not die in jail? Here I am trying to fight for my innocence, but look what he just said. You know how many people I know died in jail? Nah, that ain't gonna be me. If I'm gonna die here, I'm gonna die on the other side of the wall.
You gotta do what you have to do.
I'm gonna take the plea deal. I've already won 2 trials. I've already went to trial 2 times for lengthy weeks and came back with not guilty verdicts. How many times do you want me to keep doing this? Because technically they could do it again for a whole nother murder. And now my life is in a whole nother jury hand that I don't know what the verdict gonna be. And that's why I understood Thugger. People got mad at Thugger, like, why he took that time when his code. You don't know what the jury gonna come out and say. If you got the chance to take your life into your hand and come home to your family, come home with your family. The right way though. The right way. Come home with your family.
Concrete, keep it real.
Come home to your family. If you got a chance, come home to your family, man. Don't listen to what people say, oh, probation this, probation that. Listen, these people ain't sending you letters. They not sending you commissary. They not checking on your mom. They not checking. I lost my mom, my dad, and people get tired of me saying, listen, I lost my mom, I lost my dad, I lost my brother while incarcerated during my last year's stretch. I don't care what nobody said. I'm gonna keep repeating it. Those were blows.
Of course.
I had to eat that in my cell. You get where I'm coming from? I had to eat that. So when I tell you I commend you, man, I just don't want no youngster going through this. They don't need to be going through this. And these killers got to stop. This violence got to stop. It's senseless out here. And I know I'm rambling right now, but it's passion of mine now to cease that because they loving it. Because both family lose. The one that died loses. The one that go to jail loses. Everybody loses. And guess who's on top? The oppressors. Right. The ones that set up the cycle. They've been set this up.
Just to show you how everything is full circle. The same way that we started the conversation is the same way we're closing it out. 5,000 role models. That same work, that same what's going on in our community. Our boys either getting caught up or dying. This organization is trying to curb that, trying to let them see different skill sets. But sometimes I think our youth, me working with youth, the youth get bored. They look at a lot of media, they emulate, and we we not producers. You know what I'm saying? We consumers.
Right,
so we just look at stuff, we buy it. They need to be busy making stuff, creating their own lanes. That's why I salute the younger generation. A lot of entrepreneurs are coming out.
This generation, yeah.
A lot of them are, you know what I'm saying, like conscious and don't know what's going on.
Right.
Earlier than we were at a certain age. That's
because they're exposed to more. Yeah, they're exposed. They, like you said, more information. Like you got 6-year-olds. They know how to use a tablet. They know how to pick up a tablet.
3-year-old.
They use it better than me.
Yeah. They
use it better than me.
They're like what? Wi-Fi, whatever.
So we're gonna wrap this up. Let me ask you this, Grimo. What does concrete keeping it real mean to you, man? Like, what does keeping it real mean to you, man? And it could go to any fashion, any aspect, any perspective. But what does keeping it real mean to you?
Keeping it real to me is just just being who you are, not putting the front on for nothing, for nobody, for no business, for no whatever it is, man. Like if you're not being yourself, then you're not being. If you're not being yourself and you're not acting, then that's not real. You know what I mean? They're just smoothing out, take the kinks out, be yourself. Because if you're not yourself and you're trying to be something other than yourself, then you're not real, and then anything that comes from that is not real also. Can't be real because it's not authentic. It's not authentic, it's not original. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what concrete and you do the concrete in there means that to me that's like solidness. You know what I mean?
That's what it is.
That's solid.
Exactly.
Solid, keeping it real. Like just be you, my brother. You know what I mean?
Solid,
like don't try to be nobody else. Don't try to dress like nobody else. You know what I mean? Like just create your own style, create your own lane.
And you'll be surprised when I tell people once you come into that, so much people will actually love you for who you are because they can't shy away from that because that is you now.
Right. Of course.
And they're gonna love you for who you are. They're gonna accept you for who you are.
Like you said, they can't shy away from who
They
you are
can't.
because that's who you are.
Who you are. And the ones that don't like you, they're gonna run as far away from you as they want. But guess what? You don't need them in your life.
You're gonna filter everybody out. That's not
There you
for
go.
you. Feel me?
There you go.
You know what I mean? And people that's aligned in your life, you'll know where they are.
And they gonna beat up for the rest of your life.
Concrete, keep it real.
Appreciate it.
You already know.
Thank you.
Check me out on all platforms. Mecca A.K.A GRIMO, new movie, Queen's King. Hosting Sounds a Little Haiti every third Friday of the month. Down in TIET, Fepuli, Children's Hope Chester Dreams.
Instagram.
Cultural workshops. Got an Instagram. My personal Instagram is Mecca A.K.A GRIMO. Something else we ain't talking about is the wife and I doing travel destinations.
Okay.
We're doing Life Travels 360. That's what it is. At Life Travels 360. Check us out on YouTube. Check us out on Threads. And so we travel. We already travel. She loves to travel. Okay. And so she be out and about just booking trips. You know what I'm saying? We deserve it for ourselves. Right. This is like we work so hard, so it's like work hard, play
Enjoy
hard.
it.
You know what I'm saying? So since we doing these trips, why not again that entrepreneurial mindset? Let's do videos for the resorts while we there already. You know what I mean? Let's talk to the Minister of Tourism. Let's talk to him on how we can boost tourism in this country, coming from where we coming from. And maybe bonds and relationships can be formed, and they have been.
I like that.
You know what I'm saying? So, we got excursions wherever you might want to go. You know what I mean? Because of these places that we've gone to already and built these relationships. So people are not like, I know they go on TripAdvisory, but we've been there.
Listen, I seen some of them on YouTube. You were having fun, man. I'm like, man, y'all gotta check this out. I gotta check this.
So that's the only thing we really ain't wrap up. Life Travels 360. Everything is business. You know what I mean? We stand on business. We stand on what we say. And just check us out. Little Haiti field trips. I also do tours in Little Haiti. So if you want to walk in tour, you want to check out more than just driving through there. There's like a little history on the Little Haiti Cultural Center. There's history on the marketplace, the Marché Haïtien, which is its real name. You know what I mean? And like a lot of that. Shout out to Little Haiti, TIET.
Shout out.
It's Concrete Keeping It Real Season 2, Episode 1 with Mecca, closing out.
How you like it?
Put through sweet that bit like news. Tryna be special, diamonds be dancing retarded. We got the best in the market. I'm in a Tesla full of chrome hearts, pushing the button to park it. Got a dot on the shirt like Target. When I drop that pic, she harded. Even though sometimes I'm heartless, put ice right where my heart is. In a Model D with a gypsy, lean over and say she wanna kiss me. Don Julio made her whole tipsy. I just say she wanna listen to naked. Yeah, diamonds be dancing frisky. Gotta put on a set, Ricky. Be out of the door, but I gotta go back 'cause I might have forgot the blicky. All my bitches bad as shit. We on top like chandelier. We make a movie, crib full of baddies and bougies, Glocks, FNs and Uzis. I might pop out like John Wayne, come through sweep that bitch like nudie. I might pop out like John Wayne, come through sweep that bitch like nudie. All my bitches bad as shit. We on top like chandelier. We make a movie, crib full of baddies and bougies, Glocks, FNs and Uzis. I might pop out like John Wayne, come through sweep that bitch like nudie. I might pop out like John Wayne, come through sweep some shit like nudie.